Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here from simpleprogrammer.com. Tired of pushy recruiters sending you LinkedIn requests for jobs you have no interest in? Tired of blasting out resumes into the dark? If so, you should check out Hired.com. Hired.com flips job searching on its head by having top employers like Facebook come to you after you fill out one simple application. You also get your own job coach to help you on your next job search. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend you at least fill out the application. Just go to Hired.com/simpleprogrammer, and when you get hired with Hired, you'll get double the normal sign-on bonus for using that link. And I got a bit of a philosophic question from someone here, and this is kind of funny because he titled it, he said, so this may be more philosophic, where to find the 25th hour in a day. I like that. I think you could write a book called Where to Find the 25th Hour in a Day, or The 25th Hour. I think that would be a great book. And this is from Ilya, and he said, Ilya from Russia, programming is my passion. For some reason, I feel like I need to do that in a Russian voice. Programming, I don't know, I can't do it. All right. Programming is my passion, and I would like to study more, to know more, to do more, and don't tired from it, but for me, day is too short. I couldn't resist. All right. So, yeah, I agree. Day is too damn short. Why is the day so damn short? Where to go? Where to go from here? There's a lot of things. What it comes down to this is, right, I mean, every day, by the time I get to the end of the day, I'm like, really? Is it really fucking over now? Like, is it really time to go to bed? Is it 10:30? Can I just get like one more hour? You know, and I can't. You can't. And there's a few things that you can do, though, strategies you can do to maximize your time, right? And I'm not just talking about productivity, because I've done some videos. You can see how I plan my week, and I'll talk a little bit about that on my video on planning my week. And I've done some, if you've looked at my soft skills, if you really want to hear productivity stuff, go check out my soft skills book. There's a whole section on productivity in there. But what I want to talk about more is the concept of time, and not the implementation that makes you more productive and doing more stuff, but having the time and feeling like you have more time. So the very first thing that you can do, and that you should do, is you should start tracking your time to see where it's spent. Okay, that's the biggest thing, is because, well, what you want to do here, what you want to figure out is, where are you currently spending your time, and where do you want to spend your time, right? So if you think you don't have enough time for stuff, it's probably because you have 24 hours. You don't have 25, okay? So where's it going, right? And if you just do some simple math, if you sleep for 8 hours and you go to your regular job for 8 hours, so that's 16 hours, and then you've got 8 hours left, and you eat, and you commute and stuff, and so maybe you have 6 or 5 hours. So you can see very quickly, you go to the gym, there's another hour there, or 2 hours, right? So you can see very quickly that your time could get eaten up, but you want to track it and see where that time is going. Even when you're at work, like how you're spending your time at work when you're working, if you're working a job for someone else. So once you've done that and you've tracked your time, then the next thing to do is to evaluate that and say, okay, where can I eliminate inefficiencies? Where can I gain more time, right? So for example, one of the things that I was doing was I was going to the grocery store after a run and picking up some food. I'd pick up like a steak and some vegetables and stuff, and I'd cook that up. And by the time I went to the grocery store, by the time that I picked up this food, by the time that I cooked this food, I'd put like 2 hours into it, and I was like, wow, it would have been so much better if I just found some place that had even the pre-made food at the grocery store and picked that up, like a whole roasted chicken, or I've started doing like turkey breasts or something like that. Or a bowl, I'm in an urban area, so I can walk and get that, but it saved me like an hour and a half. So look for those optimizations where you're spending a large amount of time, and that might give you your 25th hour, honestly, right there. The next thing I would say is that you need to prioritize what you actually want to do with your life and your time, and you might need to periodize it, right? So in weight training and lifting, we talk about this periodization, which is basically to say that, hey, sometimes you're doing heavy, high or low rep to do strength, and sometimes you periodize to higher rep, right, with lower weight, and sometimes you even do like what they call a deload, where you maybe do nothing or you don't do a lot and you recover, and it's a periodization. The same thing a lot of athletes do for running. You should do the same thing with your life and your time. So, for example, you know, I always have this conflict. I'm like, hey, I'd like to play some video games, and you don't have enough time, and I want to like really get into games, or I want to travel. I was just talking about traveling, and I travel usually for about 2 months of the year. What I'll do is I'll periodize things so that instead of taking my 24 hours and saying, how do I fit all these things into the day? Okay, I say, all right, so for the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna focus on these 3 things, right? These or this is the one thing, or this is these 2 things, or 3 things, whatever it is, right? And that for that period, I'm prioritizing those, I'm fitting those into the schedule, and then now I go into another 2-week period where I'm shifting, I'm doing something else. So maybe I am taking some more time and playing a video game or something like that, right? Or maybe I am taking some time to work on some other project that I wanted to, or to do some other passion or hobby, right? Because if you're a person who's dynamic and maybe you've got like 5 different hobbies you'd like to pursue, and you've got a bunch of different projects and all these stuff and books you'd like to read, you're not going to be able to, if you try to time slice that into one day, you're going to feel like you're always in a rush. You're going to feel like you never have enough time, like you need that 25th and 26th hour, right? I mean, if you gave me 30 hours, I wouldn't be happy. But so instead, you're going to do like a computer does and time slice it. You're going to swap it out. You're going to say, okay, for 2 weeks, I'm going to use this schedule, and the next 2 weeks, I'm going to use this. So think of it, if you had hobby A and hobby B, right? Instead of saying, okay, every single day I need to do a little bit of hobby A and a little bit of hobby B, instead you're saying for 2 weeks, for that time slice I have, like an hour, I'm doing hobby A. And for the next 2 weeks after that, I'm doing hobby B. So that's what I found that works. And you can do this, you can apply this to your whole life, right? So for example, I work 10 months out of the year usually, really hard, 60, 70, 80-hour weeks, and then I take 2 months and I go and travel, and I go have some fun and relax and enjoy myself, and I do shorter mini vacations and stuff like that every once in a while when I feel like I need it to get that periodization in, so that I'm not just doing one thing. You got to have system and you got to have a routine and schedule. That's important, right? But if you use this kind of technique, it can make it so that you can divide things up that can't normally be divided during the day, right? And that's what I found that works, and that makes me feel like I have more time. And ultimately, one last thing I'll say is that you've got this long list, right? Because I know you from reading this email. I know what you're talking about, because this is me, right? And you want to do all these things in life. You're gonna have to cut some of those things. Like, you can't do it all. You just can't do it all. You can't, I mean, maybe over years and years, but you gotta really say, okay, what is the most important things to me? Because what ends up happening when you have this big long list and you think you're gonna do it all and you think you're gonna do all these things, is you end up not prioritizing it. So you end up doing and living your life, doing stuff that is not actually important to you. And when you do that, that's sad, because and you don't even realize you're doing it because you think you're going to get to all this stuff. So, every day, pretend like you're not getting to all this stuff. You're only going to get, one of the best exercises I ever did in my work life was to say, I only got 4 hours today. I know I have more, but I only have 4. What can I do? And when I do that, I get rid of the stuff that's not as important. And sometimes I get it all done, but I always get the important stuff done. All right, I hope that helped you. Thanks for the email and the question. And if you have a question for me, you can email me at john@simpleprogrammer.com. And make sure you click that subscribe button below and click the bell to make sure that you don't miss any videos. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.